I think we might just expand into Barcelona. I don't know, we might do. Gaudi. Do you know something? When you look from here, it's actually a very ugly looking city when you look from here. You don't think? As in terms... No, I mean, obviously there's some beautiful buildings, but there's some right in there, isn't there? You know what I mean? Usually when you look over a city, it's like, it can be beautiful, can't it? Like, if you go to Tuscany or you go to...
Rome.
Yeah, Rome. That's better, yeah, it's probably better over there. Am I usually there? No, you're there.
He's usually opposite Gary.
You're inside.
You're there.
I've only just...
Rice is there.
I've seen a polar bear over there with a jacket on.
It's cold in here.
Freezing.
It is, yeah. What we doing for food after this? We're going into Nobu?
No, I'm going to bed.
I think we should have maybe 8 o'clock, just for 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
In Nobu. Just maybe a few little dishes.
Just a couple
Little,
of bits,
yeah.
couple of asides.
Empty.
Couple of asides.
Is that tea? We've hit a brick wall, haven't we?
No, we haven't.
Have we not?
No, we haven't.
I don't
Stop
think we-
sending them messages. I haven't.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Look at that.
Look at that.
That city's waiting for us tonight.
This is what happened in '99. They thought you know what I mean? The players.
Exactly.
Nice one.
Exactly.
We're in Barcelona, by the way, for those of you that are watching. We're on tour. We're in Barcelona and we're bringing you a special stick to football. And to be fair, you're right, Roy. How can I say that we've hit a brick wall when we're in Barcelona?
Exactly.
Because that's the kind of guy you are, Gal. You don't recognise until somebody opens the curtains for you.
But you just said you wanted to go to bed.
Who, me?
Yeah, you just said you wanted to go
Yeah, but I want to go to bed, but like, not now.
When did you mean then? Like,
Yeah,
3 or 4 hours?
once we've done another, maybe a couple of asides. I'll go,
Do you know any of these landmarks here?
brilliant, all the way. I didn't...
We've got the Gaudi.
Room should be here. So.
What's it called? La Familia. What's it called? The main.
Sound building.
The bull ring.
What's it called? The main building?
The bull ring.
Sagrada.
Not where they
Sagrada
do the...
Familia. It's Gaudi architecture, and it's taken how long to build? 300 years. They not finished yet. It's like hundreds of
I'm
years.
surprised it took 300 years.
So where is it? It's
Is that Earl Grey?
I think it's that there, yeah. That main one in the background there with the crane round it.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Where's the new camp? Is it like, was that side? Can we see it? Or is it over the...
I think I might have some tea just to warm me
No,
up.
there's
None in it.
only
There's
one.
only one cup.
Only one.
Only one cup of
only
tea.
one.
One cup of tea. Right. Okay.
Oh, lads,
I know we do prioritise Roy on the overlap, but like it's getting a bit.
they've switched into the holiday mode. The Barcelona speedos were out. What tea is that? Sorry. Tea's weird.
Is it the milk?
I've got tea bags in my room as well. I brought my own tea bags. It's weird.
There's a joke in there somewhere. There's a joke in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Tea.
The orange or something in it.
Wow.
It's weird.
Who bought them donuts? Oh, Layla.
Layla,
You got me.
got me on my
Amazing,
knees.
them, aren't they?
Huh?
The what?
Have you had
The
one?
donuts.
Yeah, nice. You not having any, are you?
I've just had one little
Oh,
chocolate.
you had one.
I'm not having one. The ball's moving. That's not the letter of law. We're not. That's not consistent. Because if we're doing,
letter of the
if we're doing letter, no, but no.
Order!
Your mindset must be, I'm a defender. My priority is to defend the goals. 5-year deal at 29. Loads of dough. He's not going to go anywhere, is he?
Lads, you know we're losing. We have to get a ball down there. They're like 19 passes.
Who do you think you are? Get it forward.
I think if there'd have been an unbelievable manager available, I think they would have done the
Who's the
transaction.
unbelievable manager?
Liverpool, to be fair, had 6 months to replace Klopp and still found it quite challenging to get their number 1 and 2
Who was the number one
targets.
tag? You said this Sunday, I never pulled you up on it.
Carra,
Where are you getting it from? Where are you getting it from?
Oh my God.
Where are you getting it from?
Welcome to Stick to Football, brought to you by SkyBet, and this week it's a special location. We're in Barcelona and I'm with Jamie Carragher, Ian Wright and Roy Keane, and I'm going to start by reading out a Arne Slot on...
Arne Slot. Listen, we've been doing that all week.
I was doing the podcast on Sunday and Liverpool fans in the background.
Arne Slot. La 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 la. What's happening with the great man?
United's style this season has been the fullbacks high and wide with Casemiro in between, so if we keep our forward 3 high, we're constantly in a 1v1 situation, but most importantly, you need midfielders who can run and arrive in the duels. So...
Is there anything new with that though, Gary? Do you know what I mean?
So what do we make of that? He obviously saw a weakness in United that he exploited.
That's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
quality players punished mistakes. And I think you mentioned after the game, whatever about the mistakes, football is full of mistakes. Every player makes mistakes on Sunday. But what happens when you make a mistake, you hope your teammates help you out. But when you make a mistake and the ball ends up with people like Salah, they punish you. So it was brutal.
I mean, it's interesting listening to him, and I spoke to him after his first game, and he gives you something every time you speak to him from a tactical point of view, whereas you're going to give you something maybe from an emotional type of... You'd always, every time Klopp spoke,
you think at some stage he'll stop doing that because he's giving people...
I hope he does. From a Liverpool point of view, I'm thinking, and I think it is the Dutch way of doing things, that they're quite sort of on the front foot, they're quite open, they give an opinion, you ask them a question, they give you an answer, which is great for us. But every time I watch Liverpool, the thing I do like is it's not almost like everything's the same every game, as if like we do this. You just see something slightly different in each game. So the first game, after I'd spoken to him against Ipswich, I spoke about the positions of the fullbacks. And then the next game against Brentford, Trent was doing something slightly different. And then at Man United, something was slightly different. So there's obviously a way of playing he plays, but there's like little tweaks in every game. And I think on that one, you know, you used to a debate in meetings at the end of the game about the positions of the fullbacks, but that's something he spotted in the first 2 games of the season. Liverpool played Manchester United in pre-season as well, didn't he? And he highlighted how they were actually different from last season. So I just think it's interesting listening to Slot how much information he's going to give going forward. Because from a Liverpool point of view, I'll be like, just put a lip on a little bit.
Defensively, it just seems a little bit more solid. Am I right in what they're doing? Well, what Liverpool is. I know Gravenberch had a great game, and he seemed like, right, he's coming. We weren't expecting him to play as well as he did, but it felt quite solid. I didn't feel like afraid of Man United from Liverpool's point of view.
There wasn't many chances until, I think Xerxes had a couple sort of late on when it went to 3-0.
Rashford set him up.
Yeah. But when you say more solid, I think most people would think, what are Liverpool doing without the ball? I don't think it's necessarily that they're more defensive. I just think what he's trying to get into is actually they've got more care when they're in possession. So it's not like they'll try and play a ball there and it's Man United, they're right back on them. You know, with Klopp's team is going forward all the time, then the game becomes maybe a times basketball.
Last year against United, didn't it, really?
But if I'm being honest, I think the first 20 minutes was like that. In this game, there was a lot of turnovers from both teams, and Man United were going forward. And listen, could have got a goal, could have got something out of it. But so I don't think it's necessarily he's getting more defensive players in the team, or he's asking them to do something completely different without the ball. I think it's actually with the ball that they're actually set up maybe a little bit. Maybe the fullbacks aren't as aggressive in terms of their high positions as United were. So I think it's more with the ball than without it.
But should it have been a surprise to United that Arne Slot was going to go and press them high at Old Trafford, knowing that United do try and play out from the back? That shouldn't have been a shock to United, should it?
It shouldn't be, no.
No.
Of course not.
No.
But when you make the mistakes like there was, obviously, well, basically for the 3 goals, when United lose it, cheaply, I suppose. Again, I just think I've been there, I've done it. I think, but when you make a mistake, there's also that element of when you make a mistake, there's certain positions you can't lose, you don't want to lose, and of course, obviously, because you're up against it. And Liverpool, like all good teams, are ready to pounce on them. And we've seen United get punished a number of times last year, particularly at home with the big pitch, where the onus is on United. Your Man United, you still have to go after teams, and they got punished. But when they made the mistakes, I still think you're still hoping somebody will get you out of jail. Bruno never turned up. Bruno is entitled to have a quiet game, but also when you make mistakes, you hope your defenders cover you, or your goalkeeper. At United, because they're not really still a settled team, because there's still new players to come to the club, and that's not an excuse. When you're not at it, you make mistakes. That's where you go, listen, we've got 2 centre-halves, we played together for years, we can deal. Even United, there's still an element of, they're kind of easy to get off. And Salah, let's not underestimate, Salah's play for the first 2 goals.
He's gone somewhere else.
World class.
Are you in the camp, Roy, of the players need to get better at playing out from the back because that's what we need to do? Or are you of the opinion that actually, no, these players are never going to be good enough to do that and they actually need to change slightly?
Yeah, but Gary's a bit of everything.
A bit of both. You're not expecting United to start.
Yeah.
You're not expecting United to go long. But when United are trying to play off from the back, and we've seen Man City, and we see other good teams, with United, there's still an element of, they don't look as if there's a flow to it.
Yeah, but it's a transition team, right? He's talking about them being a transition team. But then, how many times have we seen Man United try to break forward and just the fullbacks, like we saw, especially with the 3rd goal, the fullbacks are way up. So they've left themselves bare ass. And of course, Liverpool are pressing them. You could see with the the first goal, I think it was with the first goal, is that he's playing in a pass to somebody who's actually trying to go that way. So when you listen to Ten Hag talk about wanting to be the best transition team all they're thinking about is going forward. Thinking about going forward to the point where he makes a pass into someone, the pass is not on. The same with Kobe. People are going past Kobe, especially for the third goal, when he hasn't even really got the ball because they're so intent on this, getting the ball up there and getting there quickly. In a system, Roy, just before I finish, in a system where they don't score enough goals in the transition. They miss too many chances.
United the other day, tactics and systems. I always got we kind of disagreed a little bit the other day about the two fullback. You're saying I still think if the ball's going on one side and you're the fullback, you still have to have whatever your manager's instructions are as a senior player to say you see somebody getting it. You have to manage the game, manage moments, the situation. You must see a player getting it going. I think he's in trouble here.
Yeah.
That's not you don't look at the manager and go, do you want me to get? That's just a gut instinct to say, fucking, I need to get back in here. So even if it's on that side of it, you have to tuck in.
I've watched that goal back, and to be fair,
which one?
The Kobe Mainoo one in the second, and I've changed my opinion on not where Mazraoui was because I think he plays the ball into Kobe Mainoo. It's Dalot is too high. So Dalot is, I think, 10 yards probably too wide and too high. He should just be a little bit more careful. What I would say is I think Kobe Mainoo wasn't under pressure when the ball first arrived. He could have played it around the corner. So I think I do reflect upon that. I think Dalot probably was too wide and high and could have been a little bit more conservative. And then if Kobe does turn, then he can go probably. So I agree with that.
Can I ask you something as a defender, lads? The two good defenders. So when that happens, and a fullback is out of position, and they're running at your back four or your two centre halves, and you're 10 yards and someone's running at your goal, there must be part of you going, I've done something drastically wrong here. I know the mistakes come over there, but I'm 10, 15 yards and someone's running at our goal. At some stage, your mindset must be, I'm a defender. My priority is to defend the goals. So even when the mistake comes, if someone's running at my goal, I'm 15, I must be looking going, I have done something drastically wrong. I have to be someone's running at my goal. And when he's scoring, you're 10, 15 yards away from him.
Your point, I think, at the start of this is should Manchester United be maybe not tighter, but mix it up a little
continue
bit.
To what they do, or
okay. My point is, Gary, I think if you just talk about the actual build up from the back, all top teams try and build up from the back, whether we feel it's right or wrong, but that's what the top teams do. And I think in the goalkeeper with the ball at his feet, I think he's quite good. I don't think he's a great goal. He's a really poor goalkeeper, but in terms of with his feet, he's okay. Martinez is really good with the ball. And then you've got De Ligt, who is as good as Canate, maybe probably slightly better than Canate on the ball. So I think it's the actual setup and the structure of maybe when you're talking about are they in the right position when they got the ball. I did this last year on Monday Night Football, and we keep talking about Man United getting counter-attacked. It's because of where they are when they've got the ball. They've got the ball. And listen, I've been critical of Casemiro, but a lot of the time, sometimes they get the ball, and you can never think where the players are. Players just see them all over the place. It doesn't seem to me as if, like, when you get the ball, you know my man's going to be there. You're talking about patterns you had with maybe with Beckham. Every time I analyse a Man United game and you stop it and you go, right, someone's going to make a pass, it almost feels like they play what's on. Now, that might sound obvious, but it's a bit like, I'm not quite sure. I'll decide when the ball...
because you look at...
Whereas Liverpool, even in 3 games, it feels like they know where people are going to be around them. When they lost the ball, they're going to be in certain situations. It doesn't feel like there's that pattern of play there with Man United. Exactly. That's why they get counter-attacked all the time.
It's like Kobe. You mentioned Kobe. You mentioned Kobe, and Kobe could have played it round the corner. I've not seen, in all the time I've been watching Man United for a while now, where I've seen them play a passage of play where the ball would go into Kobe, who did have time. Maybe if he did have the passage of play where he's got a forward that's in a position where he could turn it round the corner and turn and get it. I've never seen that. I've not seen that. So I think Kobe's...
I think Iheanacho could have been on for the one round the corner first time.
Yeah, but they don't do that.
But I want to add to that, by the way. I mentioned Dalot was a little bit high. The young boy Collier also was about 15 yards.
Wow, he is way too high.
He was 15 yards too high as well. But he's a young kid.
He was told to do that.
Yeah, but just, I mean, look, I think we're in Barcelona. The most, I think, risk gambling playing out from back I've ever seen started in 2009 with Barcelona and Pep Guardiola with Piqué and Touré in a Champions League final. I couldn't believe where I saw him. It's the first time I'd ever seen centre-back so deep. And I thought we're going to win this because we were pressing on to them. We had chances in the first 10 minutes and eventually they won the game and they killed us. And it was a defining moment, I think, in Pep Guardiola's Barcelona career, because then after that he did it obviously for the next 4 or 5 years and was so successful. And he's gone on to do it since wherever he's gone. And what we're now seeing is every team, And I'm not actually saying this just off Manchester United on Sunday. I watched the League Two game on Monday night whereby there were a team, Salford were playing, and again, there were risks that were being taken out of the back and the pressing that was going on and the chances that were being created of winning the ball back high up the pitch. I've got to a point now whereby the risk and reward of playing out from the back to the levels that some teams are, which they quite clearly aren't good enough to do it at times, or aren't coached well enough, to your point, I just don't get the risk and reward. And I see Liverpool play out from the back, but I also see Van Dijk playing 60-yard switches and balls forward. I see Trent Alexander-Arnold wrapping it into the front players and playing pings over the top. I don't see sort of Manchester United or some other teams that play. They don't have that option to think that actually go long sometimes to make me think that there actually might be more space inside. I can't get my head around, played centre-back, played right-back, the risk that is taken at times in such deep areas to get 20 yards up the pitch.
Yeah.
I'm not understanding it.
Casemiro's goal the other day, the first one, the bit again you're on about risk and reward for midfielders and players taking chances. When he gets that ball, there's no great reward for him to do it first time. He's not on the edge of the box putting somebody in a goal. He'd done that a couple of weeks ago, where some of his first touches were very good against Fulham. He put a Bruno in twice with some lovely little touches. But when you get it there, you're going, and you must see that actually Liverpool, obviously, being part of being a good footballer is called awareness. Knowing when you can take a risk, because you go, listen, we've got bodies back, but no one going, you must know, I can't lose it here, because again, United are disjointed. Where they're the home team, and it's Liverpool, and there's obviously emotion involved, and you must know you can't lose it there. So why an experienced player can't go, if I'm not sure about this pass, I need to take a touch here.
You're talking about the first
goal, he loses it, and again he gets heavily punished. But that's the second one again. He's sloppy. But I'm on about passing, the risk and reward. His first time pass, even the pass he wasn't putting somebody in on goal where you go, I get where you're going here. It was too much. It wasn't worth the gamble to say, I'll take a touch. And you still have runners. You still have people ahead of you.
What's the difference? We played a possession-based game, fact, right? But we also had a possession-based game that was involved in getting it into the strikers as quickly as we possibly could. Why is it different now that they have to play 15 passes in these deep areas and actually at times stand on it, wait, and refuse passes almost forward? That's the bit I don't get.
You're talking about the goalkeeper getting it. I think we're talking about the goalkeeper having it in his hand here, aren't we? And starting from the back.
Yeah.
I think knocking it round the back, we all did that. I think if you played in the top teams, you'd all look to
pass forward, we play it.
Exactly, and that's my problem. But I get it when teams now are building up from the back and they start with the goalkeeper and the top teams do that. But the frustration I have is not that they play it around the back, is that when they have the opportunity to play it forward, there's this thing of like, oh no, we'll come back and we'll start again. And it's like, no, the whole point of playing from the back, and Pep Guardiola will say this, Pep Guardiola has been quoted as saying, he doesn't play out from the back just so people say, isn't his football pretty? Because he thinks it gives him the most chance of winning the game. That's what he does. But the whole point of playing around the back is to maybe try and make the pitch as big as possible. So basically you can entice someone on to get, and then you can get this. My frustration is that I see this in, you say the lower divisions, I see it a little bit with Southampton at the start of this season where once you've got out, it's like, we're out, we've done, now get it, maybe, because what a lot of teams do now is they go man for man. Because it's a great opportunity for you to score a goal when teams are playing around. Because you win it there. Forget your build-up from one end of the pitch to the other. You win it there, you've got a great chance of scoring. So what teams doing now are man-to-man marking. But if you can maybe just work an opportunity, you're maybe 3v3 at the back if you've left your front three, or 2v2 because people are going. And
that's if you're good enough, Jamie, to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, okay.
But there's an element of a lot of that part of playing out from the back and when to go for is decision-making at the highest level. Man City players do look, you're going, they're a smart team, they're very talented, they're big, strong boys, they're back four, big and strong, and obviously their instructions are to play out. But there is times where you've gone, it goes back to their goal, you go, listen, I'm getting this up the pitch. They've done it a few times, you go, we're hitting Haaland, and we've got runners.
The game against Arsenal, not the season, the year before, they won the league. Arsenal thought we'll go after them, man to man, all over the pitch, they went, knocked it in. And then last season, Arsenal go to Man City and do what? We're going back because of what happened the year before. Yeah.
But when I'm a midfielder, I would look at midfielders. When you get the ball now, your first option as a midfielder has to be, whatever about defenders and strikers, where they're showing if they're spinning, your first option as a midfielder has to be, can I pass it forward? We were lucky at United when I played. We always generally played two up front or one dropping in, and lads who wanted the ball. No strikers are kind of, they're peeling off or they're kind of shown, but they don't want it. We top strikers where it was easy for me. I go, he wants it. But that's my first option. Hey, if it's not on, I go back out. I get the impression on midfielders are going, again, there's retention and possession and 600 passes, I get it. But the first option is can I go sideways or backwards? No, can you get in there?
Forward.
Then,
That's what you'd want.
You simplify it.
You look at United.
If you can do it in 6 passes, why not do it in 6 passes?
But Roy, that to me is a fullback. My first pass is a striker. My second pass is my right winger. My third pass is my central midfield player. My fourth pass is my centre back. My last pass is my goalkeeper. If I pass it to my goalkeeper, I'm probably getting a bollocking. I'm getting a bollocking if I pass it up to the goalkeeper because I'm probably a better pass on somewhere that I've missed. So it's just literally, it's like a sort of like a robotic method that you have in your head. Where are my strikers? As the ball's coming to me, I'm looking at my strikers. Where are they? And if I can get it into them, it's going in.
Yeah.
And if it's getting into Beckham, it's going into Beckham. If it's going to Scholes, it's going into...
But there's nothing with that with United.
No, that's the point. Is now the risk. I'm not quite sure that the intent. Why do we have to? And I don't sound like a dinosaur here, because the reality is I know they play out from the back. I know they're more technically gifted. I know fullbacks go into midfield. I'm accepting all those principles. But if you're giving chances away regularly, and loads of teams are giving chances away regularly by getting pounced upon in the defensive third, why keep doing it?
So what are you saying? It's the balance, isn't it? Are you...
What
you're not saying, are you saying that Onana should put it on a goal kick, get everyone there and just kick it long?
What I'm saying is they've got a 6'3" centre forward in Xerxes, right, who basically is a target man. They've got players in forward positions like Bruno. Can they somehow basically get it into those more forward positions?
Yeah, but we're talking about the goalkeeper.
I know, but what I'm saying is...
But it's got to start to... You're talking about like someone making a pass forward. That's different.
Liverpool did let that first pass happen. They weren't like sort of like going sprinting onto the 6-yard box. But once you've got it out to say a fullback or you've got it up to a centre back that's moved up to the edge of the 18-yard box, Van Dijk opened the whole game up after about 15 minutes where he played a pass.
Yeah, but that's a good play down there. That's the other side.
But my point is, his intent is, Van Dijk, he looks for that long one there, or he looks for that one in there, and Trent's the same. Trent played like a faded 60-yard.
That's what the first goal, the goal was disallowed from that, wasn't it?
Yeah, so my point is, you look at their intent of their players at the back, they're playing out from the back, but the intent of them is still, Robertson's intent is still to play that one in there.
United's intent is not
the
to do that.
intent's not there with United.
It's never to do that, is it? Yeah,
the risk is too great.
I think even when you look at Onana, even when it can be done quicker, he's going slow. He's very tentative. He's like, oh, not there. No. And then he goes, and then he passes it out there. There's no movement. There's no movement in front. Even if it does go into someone like Casemiro, you've seen what happens. They just go close to him because he's not going to turn and be able to see something. Because Xerxes, at the moment, I think Xerxes is still just trying to find out what he's
finding his way, of course. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that will start to happen because they'll probably start to move it a bit quicker through the midfield if he's the focal point where you can. Because I don't think someone like Kobe Mainoo can turn it round the corner if he's not going to turn it round into someone who's going to be able to keep it again. Because then Man United lose it again and they're straight into you.
But it shouldn't. I still think, right, if you do lose the ball, it's just after that. If you stop it when someone loses, you're going, it's just, there's 3 or 4 runners running at United. It's like, it shouldn't happen at that level. And sometimes I look at the defenders and you look about the 2 experienced centre-halves, still trying to settle into a partnership. But that's where you've often said about Brucey having you tucked in, Tony Adams with England. I'm sure you've had it, Jimmy. Lads are going, as you get older, or you're not settled back forward. The one thing you say is, listen, lads, we're not on the top of our game. You got new players still setting into the club. You got a right back, a centre. What you would say is, for the centre-half of the goalkeeper, communication going. When's that's happening, going, lad, just tuck in a little bit.
The third goal, Kobe Mainoo shouldn't get dispossessed like he does. That's mistake number 1.
But he did.
However, Collier shouldn't be 15 yards further up the pitch as he is. He's a young kid. And Dalot should definitely be 10 yards further back and 10 yards further in. They're the mistakes that were made on that goal. You're right, Kobe gives it away there, which is a bad mistake. But I think if Collier and Dalot were in the right positions, that goal doesn't happen. I think on the first goal, where Casemiro's facing play and he's got lots of time, I think your fullbacks can be a little bit higher because you're thinking we've got good possession here. I know you're shaking your head on that one, but I do think I'm entitled, if you're on the ball in midfield there and you're going to give it away so cheaply, I trust you that you're not going to give it away cheaply.
But not so high, Gary. No, you can still run onto we always said about fullbacks or wingers, you still want to run onto the play. You don't want to be up there and waiting for the ball. You want to be going, hey, I'm ready.
Yeah,
I think that's why you always said to midfielder, pass it in front of the fullback so you run onto it. Not where you're out at a winger going, I'm free. Yeah, but if we lose it, the risk and reward. You're free. Yeah. But if he loses it, you're going to be a goal down against Liverpool. It's too risky.
I think from Liverpool's point of view on that goal, you've got to give credit to the manager, because if you're away at Old Trafford and the opposition's, or at any big team, and the opposition's fullbacks were bombing forward and you're saying it's decent possession for Man U, we'd probably all be saying, I hope our wingers are getting back and helping our fullbacks and getting back. He's actually said,
he said them high.
He's kept them, and that's brave, because if Casemiro gets that pass out,
then they're in trouble.
And we might be saying, oh, what position's he in? And then for it actually to work, Salah, the wide player he's leaving up, crosses it, and Diaz scores at the back post, basically, because two centre-backs can't deal with that, width of the pitch of the attack. So you've got to give them the credit.
Jamie, two and a half weeks ago, Man United were home to Fulham. They had literally, if we could look back on that game, Fulham almost got in the same situations against Man United.
Didn't he?
3 or 4 times you're looking going, it's just a simple pass for Fulham and they're in on goal. And a couple of times they gave a pass behind. I think one hit Maguire's heel when you're going, that's your true. It was the same scenario, the same problems. Liverpool were good enough to say, obviously they're going to watch the Fulham game and go, look lads, if we do, whoever's high up the pitch, if we do win it, we're in on goal. We're not like going, I'll take 6 passes, or we need a bit of magic. Bit of quality, certainly for the first 2, but the last goal, I bet you Salah's thought, I'm just getting a free shot on the edge of the box. I've not even been grabbed. No one's hit me as I'm kicking it. Hey, the goalkeeper's all over the place, and I bet you're going, you're 3-0 down. So I can also make the point there, you mentioned Salford and MK Dons. You're not about the arrogance of people playing out. And the craziness I find when players are coming out and playing out the back, when they're losing. And the goalkeeper's coming out, he's taking 7 touches. You're going,
that's what I'm saying.
I think it's like, it should be in America. I was at Salford MK Dons. I was going to hang around the dressing room after the match and just see the MK Dons goalkeeper and ask him going, you know when you're losing with 15 minutes, you're fucking losing. And he's coming out going, like, in America.
He's not expecting this, the MK Dons goalkeeper.
Going to fuck Salford in the return.
But you know when you do in American sports, the timeout, after 70 minutes you go, just time out. As the lads come over to you, you go, lads, we're losing. You know what I mean? We have to get a goal down there. They're like 19 passes. MK Dons, who do you think you are? Get it forward. Eggs. Jesus. Fucking losing. As if they don't know what the score is.
I feel
they are the opinions of Roy Keane, not Salford.
Is that a disclaimer?
You're a director at Salford. You can't speak like that about our opponents. No, he's there every week. I know exactly what you're saying. So, just coming back to 2 things about Manchester United on Sunday. On reflection, and Ian, I'll come to you first because I think we spoke about this after the game. The human side of it, obviously, Casemiro, and how bad it was for him in the first half. And we've all been there. We've had them games. Yep. He comes off at half-time. The rumour is that potentially maybe even gone home. We don't know, but that's the rumour. And I don't blame him. So he's obviously not taking it well. What do you make of it in terms of now how it looks for him moving forward? And I think you've obviously been criticised a little bit in the last 24 hours about it as well.
You know something? It's one you can't help but feel sorry for him because he's in a situation where he's at the stage of his career where he's been an unbelievable player and he's now playing against the calibre of the players that are around him in respects of what Liverpool are going to close him down, how quick he's going to have to turn and get the ball into people who, let's face it, even with that second goal. He's got the ball and he's going forward. There's nothing. He's not getting no. So for him, he's holding on to the ball a fraction longer than he should have. But in respect of him as the legend that he is, it's sad to see him like that because I don't believe that the way Manchester United are set up, he's set up to be successful in the team. Because for me at the moment, not because of his capabilities as a player, because even the way he wrapped that ball, it was good. It had good pace on it and stuff, but obviously the player weren't there. I just feel that he's in a system where he's not being helped. He's not being helped because, in that particular instance, he's got the ball running towards and got no one to pass it to. Now, what was sad about it, the whole thing, is that, again, the level of player and how it worked out for him, he's got no one around him that's helping him. No one.
I think when you think about how he could be helped, is when you think of a midfield player maybe coming to the end of his his time, you think of that maybe a sitting midfield player. Normally you say, okay, he plays almost like the middle of a 3.
Yes.
Man United playing a 2. Man United can't do that because of Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes would never have the discipline to stay in that area. So United always play with a number 10. So then you've got 2 here. And if, Man United's wide players, and every wide player now really is almost like a striker. And they're not like wide players of the past where they come back in here. They're almost like Salah's like that, Diaz is like that for Liverpool. Most teams are like that. So he's in there with me, And that pitch at Old Trafford is massive. And there's just so much space. And obviously, Ugarte's going to come and he's probably going to take his place. But I know, listen, I've been critical of him, but he's been put in a position by Man United. You can talk about the structure of the team, but Man United's buying policy of buying players like Casemiro, and I go back to Varane, great players, legends, European Cup winners, World Cup winners, Varane. They're the deals they won't do anymore. And he's got an unbelievable 5-year deal at 29 on like, good luck to him, loads of dough. He's not going to go anywhere, is he? You know, and rightly so, and that again goes down to the mismanagement.
It will get worse for him. Do you think he'll play again?
I think he will. I think he will. Well, where else is he going to go unless something's done the next week or two? He'll definitely be here till January. The one thing I'd say about he had a difficult first half, obviously, but he played the Community Shield, done okay. Played against Fulham, done okay. They should have beaten Brighton. I know these are Man City had half a team. I get it, but I wouldn't be writing players off at that age. We say I'm 31, 32. What happens? And I've been there. When you get to that age and you've an unbelievably poor game, which you did the first half, everyone's quick, as if none of us had a bad game when we were 22. Everyone says, "Oh, your legs are gone." You go, "Well, actually, my legs were gone a few years ago." I wouldn't be writing him off yet, and maybe his role in the team, if he gets
back in
or gets a couple of games under his belt, might be a bit higher up the pitch. Because the first thing we always say is, he can't get around the pitch. But what we've seen him going forward, he does have an eye for a pass and set pieces. We've said, how many times does he get his head in it? So will he get Man United, Casemiro get back to Man United, compete with Man City? Of course not. But the deal's done. He's at the club. And I go back to it, and I think the other day when he gets taken off at half time, listen, I wouldn't go to as far as I feel sorry for him. Listen, he's an experienced professional, he's on a good deal. Hey, suck it up a little bit. But I go back to when you make mistakes as a player, I bet he's looking around me going,
help me.
Lads,
would you have left him on, Roy?
I would have left him on.
Would you have left him on?
I would have left him on because...
I don't know, Roy. Because the way he's playing, with the fact that he hasn't got the movement, this is why...
You bring on a young player who's obviously, and sometimes managers do that, they have thrown another young player in, there's a bit of PR. And this kid will probably be a decent player, but when he came on...
His confidence was too bad by then.
He's come on to a difficult situation at Old Trafford. And again, the one thing you'd say when United aren't quite at their best, Old Trafford, fuck me, it is a big pitch. It is it's great when you're on top of teams, but when teams don't come to Old Trafford and Man City, they're going, hey, we're getting a bit of joy here.
So it's like United aren't good enough to
turn up. So tactically, put it this way, tactically, whatever, but the emotion, tactically they changed. The change made no difference.
No.
They didn't come on and you're going to work more solid.
Where I've seen older players work in central midfield is usually when they're excellent on the ball and they're absolutely outstanding at controlling the game.
And with loads of time.
So you've seen the likes of Jorginho or Pirlo, or you've seen players like, say, I'm thinking of someone else then. Scholesy, Xavi, where players where they're just so exceptional with the passing and the ability to be able to play, and they play in a certain team, that actually they can get through the game by the fact that they're actually unbelievable on the ball. So Casemiro is a holding midfield player who's a destroyer, who's probably lost his legs a little bit, and he's lost a lot of weight as well, it looks like, as well over the summer, so he's probably lost a bit of his power. So my point is, I think it's difficult for destroyers to actually become players that can become as relevant in the later years. I think it's harder. So for me as a fullback, I struggled, I think, on Old Trafford once my legs had gone after that injury at 32. So I was 33, 34, and I didn't have the power in my legs, and my ankle was a bit like that, and I felt like I was running on glass. It became a big pitch for me and difficult for me.
He's what's it called?
Yeah, but you know,
the
fullback and midfield. I don't know. It is a massive pitch, Old Trafford, that will find you out. I know it might not be massive, but it is massive.
The one thing I'd say about Casemiro, a few times I've seen when you watch him, so when he's off it, he is off it. We've seen it in some games. You look, obviously we've gone back to the Palace game. There's games you can highlight going when he's not at it. He looks terrible. Yeah, but partly you would say to him, as you're getting a bit older. My point is, as I got older and I was 31, and you weren't. The one thing I would say to myself was, whatever I'm going to do today, I'm going to do the simple things well. But
all those players, what you mentioned, all scan in their prime, they were the best scanners. So when they're getting older, they go and get the ball in places where, like Casemiro was getting the ball in places where, go and get him. Those players, what you mentioned, as they got older, they weren't putting themselves in situations and they could pass.
I think his idea of moving him probably higher and away from that back four in those deeper positions, because I don't think he's the best on receiving it with half turn.
Instead of who?
Well, I don't know. Agarty's probably going to come in with Mainu, to be fair. But when he does play, maybe Agarty can sit a little bit deeper and he can move on a little bit.
Maybe. I just wouldn't be writing him off yet. That's all. He's at the club. He's an experienced player. Sometimes you have to go away, clear the head. It's still early in the season. As you said, he's come back and he's lost a lot of weight. Sometimes that can affect the player.
Yeah.
Where you're going, we're on about players that become fitness freaks. And I was an example of it. I became a bit body fat. That you go, actually, you've gone too far the other way. You still need that strength and that power in the middle of the park.
Yeah.
But I think maybe they obviously brought people in to do that job. Because the one thing, if you're going to be United, you're going to be open or you're going to take... You want someone in there in that position, whatever about intelligence is dynamic.
You could target
and he is
like
not
him.
dynamic.
No, he's not. You can target him. If he's in your midfield.
Of course they will. They're all doing it.
If he's in
Liverpool
their
done
midfield and Casemiro, when you see what's happened to him in those games, you will target.
Don't be writing the. I'm not writing. It's not because
no.
of what he's done previously. I still think there's enough there that he could maybe give something to Man United. But the problem is, they're still so far behind City, Arsenal, and obviously the evidence of the weekend, of course, is Liverpool. But
and the length of contract and money that he's on.
But that's not his fault.
No, I'm just saying. But that'll be.
People talk about his wages. Like, hey, that's Man United's problem, not his.
And then, so next one is where obviously the discussion. We knew that if Liverpool beat Manchester United well on Sunday, which I don't think any of us were expecting before the game, even you, but they did, and they were well and truly beaten. That Erik Ten Hag would come under an element of pressure in terms of sort of being, prodded and poked. Where are you at with that in terms of sort of what the next few months looks like?
I suppose it's the same conversation we've had the last few months. There's still that huge question mark over him, isn't there? I know his defence and constantly, and rightly so, is that he's won a couple of trophies. But I suppose our upbringing and our probably mindset at Man United is, again, I'll go back to it. It's great winning cups and it's lovely. But I think a club like Man United, with the money they've spent, it's got to be that league stuff. It's got to be consistent. Yeah, and obviously still competing in the cups. But that's your bread and butter week in, week out. They finished 8th last year. They'll obviously, I think, will do better than that. But I'm not sitting back and looking. And they're bringing it. Do you know what happens as well when you're a team having a difficult results? Well, we keep saying they're bringing more players and more. But at what stage do you say to yourself, I'm going to have a solid team? Like, just say United the weekend where we're quite off it, but you go, but our back four have been together for 2 or 3 years. Lads, we might get us a draw today, just from our performances and the keeper. But you look at United. United can't even hang their hat on that. We're going, we're a bit off it. There's gaps everywhere. We're getting ripped apart by a good Liverpool, particularly Salah. But you haven't even got a settle. It's not even a settle.
I can't see what's going to change. I can't see how it's going to change in respects of not finishing 8th again. Roy, when you look at the team, you hope...
see when the players come back.
Yeah, but you hope that when they come back, because...
Do you know what, Reddy? Sorry, you've used the word. It's more hope than probably belief.
I think that's what it is, because I don't know what he's going to... For a start, they're not scoring enough goals. They're missing the most... I think they're missing the most chances in respect of expected goals in the Premier League up to this point. They don't score goals. I don't know what's going to change with United for them to all of a sudden it start to go well. Are we putting all that on Nugati?
I think if you I just go back to the cup final, mate, and I can't believe what United did. Obviously, we discussed this after the game. Now, they must have been, if you're Jim Ratcliffe, Brailsford, whoever else is involved, the week leading up to that cup final, or from the semi-final, you get through against Coventry. If they lose to Coventry, he's probably maybe lost his job the next day. But you get through. So they're probably thinking, he's not quite our man from what we've seen. He's probably on... Listen, since Ineos came in, he's probably been on trial. You get the Coventry game happens, but you get through. We've got to wait till the cup final. Now, they must have been thinking, if we win the cup final, what are we going to do? That must have been a discussion a month before the cup final. It has to be. So, once you get to the cup, this idea that they reviewed the season, you're reviewing the season when it's going on. That's why managers get sacked in the middle of the season. You don't let a season go on and we all review it at the end.
But Carra,
No, Gary, let me finish. You're reviewing it when it's going on, and that's why managers get sacked at different times. So they must have known, probably, I think we're probably being honest, we probably think he would have gone if they'd have lost to Man City. But in the back of their minds, they've got to think, if he wins, what are we going to do? That needed to be a plan beforehand. They needed to announce Monday morning, Erik Ten Hag's our manager, not wait 2 weeks. So we're now in a situation where he's lost 2 of his first 3 games, and we're questioning his job. I think if they'd come out Monday morning saying, he's our man, he's staying, I think this discussion that we're having on the back of Liverpool, or we're having now, might have been coming a month, 6 weeks down the line. We're having it now because we know those people at Man United were that close to changing it. And we know when you're in that situation, you've got to start well.
I think I think what happened was that after the cup final, well, one, they were shocked that obviously they won in the way in which they did. Secondly, I think they probably at that time, the sentiment of what happened in that week after the cup final, United fans are incredibly loyal to all the managers, just full stop. And they wanted Erik Ten Hag to be backed and kept. Yeah. And I think they've seen enough managers turfed out over the last 10 years and thinking that it's not the manager that's the problem. Maybe it's just the fact that there isn't the structure in the club, there isn't the recruitment policy, and why we're getting rid of another manager who was promising before he came and we've turned into a bad one all of a sudden. So I think there's an element of them listening to the mood music over the 7 to 10 days. I think they also maybe they sounded out, I think, around that time, Potter, Southgate, I think De Zerbi was mentioned, Tuchel. And the mood music around that from the fans was probably a little bit sort of negative, so they were probably thinking, well...
Might as well keep him.
Yeah, I think there was an element of just looking at it and assessing it. There's no doubt that they were having a flirt around the market and seeing what they could see. I think Tuchel probably thought, well, what... You know, he comes in, he's a little bit sort of transactional, he comes in, he maybe leaves after a couple of years, and we're going to end up in the same position as maybe with Jose or someone like that. I think with Southgate, Potter, they're probably thinking, and De Zerbi, who obviously Dan Ashworth and others have had experience with, maybe there wasn't the mood from the fans that was enough to maybe make them think that Ten Hag was on. So I think they've assessed it, because I think generally they looked at it. I think if there'd have been an unbelievable manager available that they thought were 100% could improve Manchester United beyond what they know Eric Ten Hag could, I think they would have done the transaction.
Who's the unbelievable manager?
No, but my point is they couldn't find one, Carra.
Thomas Tuchel's a Champions League
But I did say this to you on Sunday. Liverpool wouldn't appoint Thomas Tuchel. Why didn't Liverpool appoint Thomas Tuchel? Liverpool, to be fair, had 6 months to replace Klopp and still found it quite challenging to get their number 1 and 2
Who was
targets.
the number 1 target? You said this Sunday, I never pulled you up on it.
Carra,
Where are you getting it from?
Oh my God.
Where are you getting it from?
Fortunately, we do record Stick to Football.
Yeah.
And fortunately, I do have a memory whereby you said they'll definitely be going for Xabi Alonso.
That's my opinion.
Oh my God, you're now all of a sudden disconnected from Liverpool that you don't think they went for Xabi Alonso when it was
I'm sure they did. Ask about Xabi Alonso, and they were told straight away, no, he's staying by a Leverkusen.
It wasn't straight away, Carra. There was a distance of time between it.
I know
right?
there was, but not for the club would have known straight away.
Get to where you was. Get back to where you was.
You're saying that Liverpool had this big search. How do we know exactly what went on behind the scenes at Liverpool?
Right, get on with it.
Okay, I think we pretty much know that they took a lot more time than they probably...
Man United, would they have... why did they not employ Slot then?
Because I think they maybe have looked at Arne Slot, I haven't got a clue, but they probably would have looked at him and thought, well, can we really get rid of a guy who's got 2 trophies in 2 years, who's not been backed by the proper structure to bring a Dutch manager in? Hang on a second, who basically has got...
He's gone out and bought whoever he wanted. You know when you talk about the structure of a football club, it's actually taken less power from the manager.
Carra.
That's what it is.
Carra.
He's gone and bought whoever he wanted, and now they're saying, no, we're not accepting that. We want players of a certain age,
I think it's pretty
a certain
clear.
price.
It's pretty
clear.
Clear that the smartest football clubs at the top tend to be the ones that are winning. But like even Brighton at their level and how they recruit.
100% agree.
So my point is, yes, exactly. So what I'm saying to you is, if Omar Barada comes in, if Jean-Claude Blanc comes in, if Dave Brailsford comes in, if Dan Ashworth comes in, if Jason Wilcox comes in, and there's a complete sweep out of everything around what's been there before, and they think, right, we can provide a proper support structure to the manager, give him the right players and the right recruitment, give him the right sort of advice when he needs it, then maybe Eric Ten Hag is not the problem here. Maybe it's the club and how it's been in the last 10 years. We've said quite often, they can't all be bad managers, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. So that was the conclusion they came to in the end. They didn't have a manager who was certain enough to be able to say, we will put our,
Gal, can I just say... Gal, but can I just say, with all that you're saying and the structure, we still need to see something from Ten Hag and the way he sets his team up and how he plays. We're talking, how many years are we in now?
This is the third season, and he's got 5.
Right,
he's brought 5 or 6 places he's worked with before.
With the structure, and you look at Arne Slot and he's coming, he looks pretty good, and you're saying with Ursula down at Brighton, of course they got the structure around him, but we still should see by now something from Ten Hag for them to. Would you be happy with another cup? Would you
all
be
these
happy
other
with another
managers
cup?
get loads of praise.
Yeah.
They don't win trophies.
Listen.
I said on Sunday, you can't sniff at 2 trophies in 2 seasons. You can't.
No, but you can flip it another way.
Listen,
Man United's worst.
Listen, can I just say, you're
right manager.
You were fractions away from against Coventry in the semi-finals. Totally different then. Yeah, totally different.
That little bit of luck or something that keeps you in a job. That's exactly, sometimes these managers.
Yeah, but that was such a bad performance, and then you've got arguably one of the worst performances. Can you imagine if Man United lost that? I know they didn't win it, and I'm being a little bit hypothetical, but if they lost that, so they've gone and won the cup. We totally forget about that result and how they played. The Coventry one.
It's the bigger picture, surely, isn't it? Manchester United's worst finish, I think, for 30 years in the Premier League. The actual football that you're watching. So at the start, maybe under even Jurgen Klopp or Mikel Arteta or even a Pochettino Spurs. Not just talking about sort of Man City here. You feel like you're on a journey of like, okay, that's getting better. That player's come in, he's improved it slightly.
Yeah.
Man United's went from a really good first season under Ten Hag, where it was a little bit, I would say, counter-attacking football. He found a way to win. You're thinking, okay, he's biding his time to get his players in. And then last season was so far away. You were actually lucky to finish 8th, if you're being totally honest, when you look at some of the performances and you look at sort of the metrics behind it. That thing that's what we're talking about. It didn't feel like something was...
Something was improving.
It's amazing how Pochettino gets mentioned. If Pochettino won 2 trophies in England, it'd be slightly different. You know, I can see why Ten Hag's got to fight his corner, and his corner at the moment is I've got 2 trophies, and he'll also argue it. He still has to get lads back from injury and that type of scenario. He's missing his striker.
So what will you
but is his football sustainable, Roy, to win a league or a European Cup?
No, I can't see it. But I can see why a manager would obviously. Any manager would sit there and go argue his point. He might say different angles will go style of play. Managers know getting the jobs on the style of play, not what they're doing with trophies. Or the manager will argue, I brought lads through from the academies. Ten Hag's only argument at the moment, it's a pretty good one, is I've got 2 trophies. But I don't think that will be, again, you mentioned again, United can't be finishing 7th or 8th because the issue with Man United, Man United have to be competing for Champions League football for financial reasons, football reasons.
I can't see what's going to happen.
No, right. I absolutely believe that what you said is absolutely correct. We need to see performance levels and consistency and actually a pattern and style of play and identity established. We have to see that. And it's a worry that after 2 years it's not been established. I get it completely. Understand it. However, I do think that he's in trouble if he's in the position that he was in last season come Christmas. He'll know that himself. But I want to see him given an opportunity to bed a team in over the next 3 or 4 months. Hopefully they'll connect somehow. Agreed, and basically we'll start to see something that emerges.
That's what I'm really hoping. It seems like, again, we're waiting for someone like Ugarte's now the one who's going to, he's going to be the same. That's all I'm saying. So now I'm going to wait for Ugarte to see if, now Ugarte's in there and he's going to be the breakup player. They can press high. He'll be able to win it and then give it to players. Then I'll say, okay, I'll see what they would do. But now I'm waiting for Ugarte.
Okay, we're going to shift it on to Declan Rice. Was it sending off or not?
I think that, you know something, I'm really tired of that conversation. I don't think it was.
Are you tired of talking to it about?
No, I've been seeing it all coming all the time. It's not. I don't think it was a sending off. And again, I'll go with the fact that if we're going to go by the letter of the law, the ball was moving. I can't just say the ball was moving. That's not the letter of the law. That's not consistent. Because if we're doing
the letter of the law,
if we're doing letter, I'm jumping on that simply because. I'm jumping on that simply because that's what. You know what really pissed me off about it is the way Kavanagh kind of strolled up to him and said, "You gave me no choice." He did have a choice because the people upstairs should have said to him, actually, you know what, it couldn't have been restarted simply because the ball was moving. So, you know, and he whacked him.
He didn't whack him. Alrighty.
Is it fair to say it wasn't a sending off in your opinion?
In my opinion, it wasn't sending off.
Sending off. Doesn't matter what happened. People go, yeah, but somebody else kicked the ball away. I said, doesn't matter, that's just sending off. And the manager, Arteta, he should be sent off every week. It's about, he's always outside his technical area.
It's about stopping the restart. That's what it was. That's what the sending off was.
But then Declan was around like he'd been shot.
It doesn't, because he kicked him.
Oh, but he got up eventually, didn't he?
Because he got up.
I'd like to have seen the referee just get the two of them together, have a little...
That's all that needed to happen.
No. So why do you think it was a sending off?
Yeah.
Because by the letter of the law, it was a yellow card. Yeah. And he was already on a yellow. 2 yellows, he's off.
Yeah, but he's getting booked for so-called stopping play from restart. He couldn't have done that because the ball's moving.
Right, but did it?
Yeah, because see, you're doing that little quietly voice.
I'm with you. I thought it was soft.
It was very
soft.
Thank you.
Oh, no, Gary.
I don't need to argue that it's not a red card, but I just think that a referee in certain situations...
You don't people say it was soft. It's like someone, are you pregnant or you're not pregnant? You know, you're soft. But you're still saying it was a sending off. I didn't say it was soft.
Gary, was it sending off for you?
I'd like to have seen it managed differently.
Wow, it's still diplomatic with the answer.
No, I'd like to see the referee keep him on the pitch and move the game on differently. That's what I think.
I didn't like the referee's manner, because he's got somebody upstairs who can actually tell him. Listen.
But it doesn't help that the
job it wasn't you.
Hey, it doesn't help. Doesn't help the Arsenal managers running on the sideline every 2 minutes doing that to players.
Yeah, but
he needs a bigger technical area, doesn't he?
I think that. You know the problem is. I don't think he's got a big enough technical area.
Right.
And I think at home, in your own pitch, you should have a technical area that can go all the way down.
So you're agreeing with me?
With what? No, I think my manager's very passionate. He's playing the game. He's kicking every ball. I ain't got no problem with that.
I don't mind kicking the ball, but they start doing all that stuff. Yeah.
I don't mind that. Listen, I didn't see that. Did he do that? Did he do that, Jay?
I don't know. I thought he was...
Did he do that?
No, wasn't it someone pickpocketing him or what was...
Were you digging him out?
Yeah, he was doing that, wasn't he?
No, he didn't do that.
Final question.
Go on.
What would your perfume range be?
What?
What, like a name? Carragher.
Wow.
Carragher!
It sounds like a mystic place.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know what mine was.
I don't know. Wow, it's hard, isn't it? I don't know.
I'm going to call it, because my nickname was Busy Bee, I'm going to call it Honey.
Oh, I like it, girl.
By Gary Neville.
Righty.
Honey by Gary.
Think of it, lads. Did you get this question already? Are we just...
No, I don't.
You just heard it out. Yours.
You just heard me read it. You just heard me read it.
Keensome.
Keensome.
Does it roll
I
off
don't
your
like
tongue?
Keensome, handsome. No,
Sure,
I don't like
Jamie.
it. I won't buy it. I won't buy
Does
it.
it roll off the tongue?
No,
Like Wrightsville.
no, I don't like Wrightsville.
Gandhi.
That's it.
Gandino or something.
Yeah, Gandino, yeah.
I ain't got a problem with the Gandhi. I'll have Gandhi. No, I don't know. What would I don't know what I'd have. Something. I don't know what I'd have in respect of an aftershave. It's a fucking moist. No, moist.
Staying in.
Moisture.
Yeah.
Oh, I like moisture.
Look at that skyline there now that we've got. It looks a bit moody.
No, it's gone misty, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
It's
nice.
gone misty.
That's come on as your fragrance.
Moody.
Moody.
Yeah. Moody by Roy Keane.
Moody by Roy Keane.
Salty, yeah, salty.